Hi everyone, we're going to quickly have a look here at how to add and subtract fractions, including fractions that are mixed numbers. And I have videos on different types of fractions that you can watch. But we're going to focus here on how to add and subtract fractions. Okay? Don't worry about the big words, rational numbers, etc. The word common denominator is required. It is, but what is that? The common denominator, well, this is the numerator, this is the denominator, as the other math videos have already talked about. And when they're the same, it's very simple to do. And if you have, two fractions, let's say we had two fractions here, and I'm going to draw pictures. Okay, this one is 1/4, and this one is 2/4. So this fraction here is 1/4 that is colored in, plus this one, 2/4 is colored in. How many are colored in altogether? Well, there's 3 colored in altogether out of the 4. So 1/4 plus 2/4, or sorry, 1/4 plus 2/4 is 3/4. Okay? If we were to add this up, if you wanted to draw a picture, it would be 3 of these colored in. Okay? It gets more confusing if you're doing 1/4 and plus how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you have 1/4 plus 1/8, it gets a little more confusing figuring out what the answer would be, because these have a different number of slices in the pie. Okay, the 4 and the 8 are not the same. It becomes very difficult to add these up unless we get the bottoms or the denominators the same first. And there's a way to do that quickly, and that's what we're going to focus on as we do these questions. Okay, so in the first question here, I'll pick a blue pen just to make it easier to see. What you need to do is start by getting a common denominator. It's here already, so if you see it there already, just write the 6 down already and just add up the top. 1 plus 3 is 4. Now, in another video, and you can watch them, we talk a lot about how to simplify. And simplifying means getting a fraction into lowest terms, okay? So is there something that can reduce 4/6? Is there a number that could divide 4 and divide 6? And if you've watched the last video on reducing, you'd say, yes, you can divide both of these by 2. If you divide by the exact same thing, we will get 4 divided by 2 is 2, 6 divided by 2 is 3. So now we found the answer up here, and then we reduced it or simplified it right here. Okay, let's try the next question. 1/3 plus 1/5. Okay, the problem with this is 1/3 and 1/5. We need to think of something that would make these denominators the same. We have to think of a number that if we times 3 and 5, it would give us the exact same denominator. Okay, I shouldn't really use blue maybe. Blue is so hard to see. There we go. So we have a 3 and a 5. We have a 3 and a 5. We need to make these numbers the same. Okay, here was the question. Well, let us multiply the bottom by, what number could make 3 and 5? What number could we multiply to make 3 and 5 have the exact same number? Well, the quickest way to do it is to say, take 3 times that number 5, and over here, take this 5 and times it by that number 3. And remember, with fractions, whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. If you multiply this side by 5, then multiply the numerator by 5. If you multiply this by 3, this denominator by 3, you have to multiply this numerator by 3. Okay? So this is just a quick way that if you want to get the same denominator, multiply by what you see across the way here. The 3 sees a 5 here, so okay, we'll multiply by 5. 3 times 5 is what? That's right. 3 times 5 is 15. And 5 times 1 on top is 5. We've got a plus sign here. 5 times 3 is what? Well, this is why we did this. 5 times 3 gives us the exact same number as 3 times 5. Doesn't matter what order you do them in. And we end up getting a 15 here. Notice why this is good? We're getting the bottoms to be the same. It's like the same number of chunks in the circle, the same number of sections or pie slices. There's 15 here, there's 15 here. It's going to be now pretty easy to deal with this. What is 1 times 3? 3. So the rule is once you get the bottoms the same, this was the tough part. Now all we have to do, keep the bottom the same for the final answer, and add up. 5 plus 3 is 8. So we have 8 over 15. Is there a number that could divide 8 and 15 to reduce the fraction or simplify the fraction? I can't think of anything. 8 divided by 2 is 4, but 15 divided by 2 is no good. It's 7.5. That's no good. We need something that would divide both of them and just have a normal looking number there, and I can't think of anything. So this is going to be our final answer, 8 over 15. We simplified. Let's try the next question. Feel free to hit pause if you are wanting to practice this ahead of me. But if you're not quite sure, and I imagine you're not, because I've just talked about this so quickly, just keep following along. We want the bottoms to be the same. Normally, we could think of a number like I know that 4 times something and 6 times something could give us the number 12 on both sides. That would work. 4 times 3 would give us 12. 6 times 2 would give us 12. And that would work just fine. We could have 12 there and 12 there. That would work. But what I'm going to do is kind of keep to the same way we did this one over here, because I'm assuming that maybe you're not good at figuring out right away that these would equal 12. So there's a way of doing it without having to think about that. You just say, well, I'm going to go 4 times what I see across here. I see a 6. Okay, so times the top and the bottom by 6. And over here, this 6, what do you see across here? Well, there's a 4 there. So times the top and the bottom by the 4. Let's see what we get. 3 times 6 is 18. 6 times 4 is 24. Minus 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 4 is 4. And 6 times 4, luckily, is 24. Isn't that nice? We get the same number on the bottom here. We have a common denominator, as it's set up here, a common denominator. Now all we have to do, instead of adding, we're going to subtract. What's 18 minus 4? 14. The 24 just stays there on the bottom. We have 14 over 24. Now can you think of something, because these are both even numbers, can you think of something that would divide the top and divide the bottom? Well, again, the video that I did on reducing fractions or simplifying fractions will tell you that if you see two even numbers, just divide them both by 2. See what you get. So what do you get? 14 divided by 2 is 7. I'm going to put an equal sign here. And 24 divided by 2 is 12. That is going to be our final answer, folks, because there's nothing that divides 7 and 12 that works out nicely. Okay? 7 over 12 is reduced form. All right? Let's go try some more questions. What happens if you get a question where there is something called a mixed number? Now, people, if you see one like this, just watch the video on how to change a mixed number into an improper fraction. Just watch that video. It's very quick. I will show how to do it right now, but it may be too quick for you or confusing, and I don't like doing that to you. So just watch the video if you're not sure on how to change an improper fraction to, how to change a mixed number into an improper fraction. But I'm going to do that right now here. So the technique on that video is you go 3 times 4, you multiply this whole number times the denominator, 3 times 4, you get 12, plus 1. That's 13. You keep the bottom the same. Now remember, if that was confusing, watch the other video, but I'm going to keep moving on here. Plus 1/5. I just wrote down the 1/5 that we got right there. And I changed this into an improper fraction. The reason why we can't just add these two right now, we can't just go 13 plus 1, is because these denominators are not the same yet. Do you remember the quick way I was showing you on the last page? Just multiply that 4 by what you see across over here. What do you see? 5. Do the same thing to the top. What about this 5? What do you see over here? The yellow one. That's right, it's a 4. 5 times 4. And on the top, do the exact same thing. Okay. 4 times 5 is 20. And 5 times 4 is also 20, so that's cool. 1 times 4 is 4. That's nice and easy. But what is 13 times 5? Well, you could use a calculator, or we could quickly go off to the side. 13 times 5. We can quickly do this using multiplying. 5, 6. Apparently it's 65. Okay? So let's figure out this answer here. The 20 will stay the same on the bottom. On the top, we have 65 plus 4, which is 69. And just knowing what I know about nines, there's not a lot of numbers that can divide 69. 3 would probably work, but the problem is 20 divided by 3 doesn't work. So this is basically our answer. Okay? The only thing is, a lot of textbooks and a lot of math teachers will say, don't leave your answer as an improper fraction. An improper fraction is when you have a big number over a smaller number. That is called an improper fraction. Improper. It's just not proper. How do you change this into a mixed fraction? Because a mixed fraction will look nicer. This is how you do it. You ask yourself, how many times can 20 multiply to make a number just less than 69? Well, 20 is kind of nice because it's like 20, 40, 60, 80. We don't want an 80. So if we go 20 times 3, there's the 3. Leave the 20 on the bottom. 20 times 3 is 60. How much more do we need to make 69? We have 60 by going 20 times 3. What more do we need to make 69? Well, 60 plus what is 69? 9. And we are done this question. This is the nicest answer. If you stopped at this answer, your teacher may be okay with that, but they probably would want you to put your answer as a mixed number. Okay? The video that I have on changing mixed numbers into improper fractions will explain what I did right here. Even though you just saw me do it, you might want more examples. Another question. Here we go. 1 4/5 minus 3/10. Okay, first step, let's change this into an improper fraction. So 5 times 1 is 5. Oh, there's my phone. I'm gonna hang that up for now. There we go. 1 times 5 plus 4 is 9. Hope that wasn't an emergency. I better hurry up here. 3 over 10. And now, let's just quickly make a common denominator. 5 times, wow, I could just multiply this by 10 and this by 10. And I could multiply this side both by 5. But I'm just going to do something quicker since I heard my phone ring just now. I'm going to go, well, 5 times something could give us 10. 5 times what, people? 5 times 2. Do the same thing to the top. And then we don't need to do anything over here because we know 5 times 2 is going to give us 10. That will give us a common denominator. So I'm just saying 9 times 2 is 18. The bottom is 10. There we go. And now we just have to keep the common denominator the same. What is 18 minus 3? 15. Okay? Can we reduce this? Yes, we could reduce this. In fact, you could change it to a mixed number now, or you could reduce. I'm going to reduce first. So we could divide the top and the bottom by what number? What number would divide both of these? If you're saying 5, you are correct. So that would give us 15 divided by 5 is 3. 10 divided by 5 is 2. And then our final answer would be a mixed number. So to make a mixed number, if you recall, 2 times what would give us something just less than 3? Well, 2 times 1. 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 is 3, so 2.5. There we go. Is there another question to do? This is the last one, people. Let's do it real quick. Change these all to mixed numbers, or sorry, to improper fractions. 3 times 10 is 30, plus 7 is 37 over 10, minus 4 times 1 plus 3 is 7. Sorry for that mess. That's too messy. I just can't handle it. Let's just make a nice 7 over 4. And over here we have 5 over 2. And now let's think of a common denominator. Ooh, this one's tougher. What number could all of these become to be the same thing? Well, 10 times, let's see, 10 times 4 is 40. Could 2 times something be 40? Yes. So let's make all of these numbers become 40 on the bottom. How would we do that? Times this by 4, times that by 4. This one's going to be a long question, people. 4 times 10 would give us 40. Do the same thing to the top. 2 times 20 would give us 40. And do the same thing to the top. So we're almost done. On the bottom, we're going to get 40 each time. 40 minus something over 40 minus something over 40. What a crazy question. 37 times 4. I don't know that off by heart what that is. I'm going to do it on the side here. 7 times 4 is 28. 12 plus 2. 12 plus 2 is 14. Okay? So 148. Wow, that's not pretty. And over here we have 7 times 10 is 70. And over here we have 5 times 20 is 100. Wow. Look at that. This question is not pretty. Okay. To speed things up, I'm just going to say 148 minus 70 minus 100. First of all, you have to know about integers because we're going to end up with a negative number because we're subtracting 148 minus, if you put these two together, you get 170. We're going to be going 148 minus 170. 148, 158, 168. So that's 22. We're going to get minus 22. If you do it on a calculator, you can verify 148 minus 70 minus 100. You're going to get minus 22 over 40. Let's divide the top. Let's reduce this. Let's divide the top and the bottom by 2. You will get 11 over 20. Okay? We've just reduced it, and we came up with the final answer of a negative 11 over 20. My apologies, people. This is the kind of question that you probably didn't really want me to go through because it's just a little bit long. I guess you could have pushed pause or stop earlier, but on the other hand, maybe your teacher gives you questions like this, and in that case, it's cool that you hung around to see what it ended up being. So I hope you're okay with this lesson, and I hope you have a good day as well. Take care.